Priega ignorde. Donc il go Kenya January 31st, 1971.
1971.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to another Afriforex video. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you do hit the like button to this particular video. Make sure you also hit the bell notification so that you get notified anytime we do have new content on our channel. So this is the second part of how to make a trading plan. I hope you've watched the first part. If you haven't, make sure that you do end up watching it. We did end up discussing a couple of things, DTM, also about entries and exits. We're going to be talking more about greed and fear in this particular video. So I'm coming to you from a place called Tafaya Castle. This is in Nyandarua County. Of course, one of the best lodges we do end up having here. Came here yesterday, so I'm gonna be here for the weekend. Tomorrow we'll be heading back to Nairobi, which is Sunday, so as to get back on the charts on Monday. So I haven't been on the charts much. Actually, I haven't been on the charts. Let me not even say much. I haven't been on the charts this week. So it's just been a week of just being out there, you know, seeing people, seeing our beautiful country. So came from Lake Elementaita Mountain Lodge yesterday after spending like 3 days there. Spent 3 days here, then back to work. So this is a really cool place. If you can, also feel free to check it out. Lots of good interesting things going on here, and also interesting people. I'm sure you did end up seeing the conversation earlier where I did end up having I was speaking my mother tongue with my long lost grandfather from Italy, who I did end up finding here. So you can check out the whole conversation at the very end of this video. And of course, so many other things like, and of course, other interesting people. Of course, I can't put everyone that I end up meeting on camera, but there are also lots of people and lots of good things. Like, for example, there's a museum that they have here, which has quite a lot of things, you know, learning about the history of how the world came to be, how mankind came to be, the history of Kenya and the history of money. They even have like ancient like crocodile teeth that they say they got from somewhere, because there's a lot of archaeological stuff that's here that dates back 3 million years. I wouldn't know if that's true. Anyway, they can end up proving it. They also end up having a mammoth tusk, which they say dates back, I think like nearly 500,000 years ago. We also can end up, you know, proving that, but it's interesting, you know, when you actually end up seeing these things, and also the history of money in our country. You know, like one thing that I found quite interesting was the fact that they were saying that 10 cents back in 1920 could buy you 50 kilograms of sugar. In 1945, 10 cents could buy you 25 kgs of sugar. In today's world, 2023, 10 cents cannot even buy you salt, and salt is the cheapest commodity on earth, not even toothpick, you know. So it just shows you how money actually does end up losing value over time, and that's the reason why you need to make sure that you're investing your money, because if you're not and you're just saving your money, it's actually going to be losing its value because of, you know, inflation, and of course the time value of money, just generally money losing its value. So that's the reason why you need to make sure that you're trading, or at least doing something with your money, just trying to invest your money. So lots of, you know, interesting things going on here. Horses, the cabins are good. It's also, you know, set up with those medieval times where you can actually end up, you know, it's like sort of Vikings and such kind of things. You know, if you're really interested in such kind of things, then you can definitely end up checking into this place. So in this video, we're going to be talking about greed and fear. So in line with making the trading plan, you know, just going to be picking it up from where we left off in the previous video. These are the two biggest emotions that any trader faces. When you're going to be taking any trade, you need to make sure that you're going to be putting your greed and your fear in check. What I normally tell guys is the two emotions are like on a gauge, all right? So one side you have greed, one side you have fear. The perfect trade is always when your greed and your fear are always in check. And one thing you'll end up realizing is, and even before you end up stating this, remember that when you make a trading plan, once you end up practicing, you'll actually end up tweaking around a couple of things so as to end up making sure that your trading plan actually ends up becoming quite good. Because on paper, when you actually end up setting off with your trading journey, it might not be everything that you want it to be, but along the way, once you end up realizing certain mistakes or certain good things that you're doing, you're going to be tweaking it, all right? So if you end up realizing that maybe most of the trades you're taking, you're actually fast getting stopped out before the market moves in your favor, it shows you that your entries are early. The problem with that could be maybe you're greedy. And I'm sorry to say so, but it's the fact. You're either greedy or you do have FOMO. So if you do have the fear of missing out, which is FOMO ideally, then it means that you're checking into trades thinking or feeling that you don't want to get left out. And that's the reason why you feel the urge to actually jump into the trade. So you might end up getting stopped out, and a good number of times many people do get stopped out before the market moves in their favor. So if you end up realizing that there is a problem with that, make sure that you end up changing something around, all right? Now, on the other side, remember I talked about it being a gauge, so you can have greed and fear on the other side. If you end up having fear, maybe because of trauma, especially because I know that most people have traded for some time, you do have that trauma that you do end up getting from the charts. Because a lot of people, when you do jump into trading, you're first gonna go through a couple of losses, and they can really end up affecting you. If you end up looking for too much confirmation, whereby you couldn't take the trade earlier unless it started to move, and then that's when you ended up getting the confirmation to actually jump into the trade, then it means that you have fear. The problem with jumping into trades late is almost similar to jumping into trades early. You will possibly end up getting stopped out, and your risk to reward is gonna be off. All right, so finding a perfect balance where your greed and your fear is actually in check is very, very, very important. And that means that you really need to make sure that you do practice. Make sure that you're tweaking things as you're moving along. Make sure that you end up maybe working on demo, even as you're working on your trading plan, because like I'm pointing out, you can end up having everything clear on paper, but when you end up going to actual trading, or like we always say, you end up on ground, things are gonna be very different. So you need to make sure that you're tweaking things there, and possibly even when you end up going on live, starting off with a small amount, just make sure that you're back testing and getting some good results as you're possibly tweaking up your system. So when your greed and your fear are both in check, and that means that the gauge is right center, then those are the perfect trades whereby you've followed your strategy, you've tweaked things around, you're not greedy at that point in time, and neither are you afraid, because at that exact point in time when you're supposed to be hitting your trade, that's exactly what your system is telling you to do. And remember that make sure that you don't override your system with your mind, because when it comes to trading, if you start fighting against your trading system with your mind, then you're definitely going to be losing, because that's the reason why many people are actually looking for robots to trade for them, because robots don't have any emotions. A robot knows that it's supposed to be hitting a buy or a sell at a particular point in time without any emotions, but the human aspect, the emotion, that is going to be one of the things that's really going to pull you back. And I know that for many people who've been trading for some time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So to make sure that you end up curbing that, just make sure you follow your system, but make sure that you really back test. Once you end up getting your full trading plan, you should be good. Now, one other thing I can end up pointing out before we finish is trading is like driving. And I'll put it this way, because you actually end up building instincts. When you go to driving school, you can't be taught everything about driving. There are certain things that you're going to learn on your own. When you start driving, you end up learning how to possibly end up driving faster, end up learning how to overlap, especially here in Kenya. You can even drive on the wrong side without necessarily causing an accident. I mean, we do that. Even I do that. Those are things that you can't go to a driving school and be like, I want you guys to teach me how to drive on the wrong side of the road. I want you guys to teach me how to overlap. No one is going to teach you that. But over time, as you become better and better, you can actually end up overlapping or driving on the wrong side of the road, not necessarily causing an accident, or possibly being caught by the cops. So same thing even with the charts. There are certain things that you're going to learn as you continue moving along. And this is where now what we call your trading edge or your instincts are really going to come alive, because once you start trading, you're going to realize certain things about your entries, about your exits. Remember that also exits are part of your trading plan. There are certain things you're going to start picking up on your own based on your experience. And that means that over time, you're actually going to become better and better. And I always tell this even to, the guys that I've taught how to trade. I can't teach you everything about trading. Yes, I'll teach you what you need to know and teach you a lot of it. The same way in driving school, you'll be taught how to shift gears. This is the accelerator, this is the brake, this is the clutch, this is how you shift gears, this is how you turn signals and all that stuff. But after that, you'll possibly be on your own. Same thing even with trading. We'll teach you a lot of things in terms of how to end up reading the charts, and I've seen that over time, with our students. Some of them have become so good at trading other things that even I myself don't end up trading those things, but they've become really good at them, indices. We see the screenshots every morning, the daily analysis. And so many other things. Some of the entries they get, even I don't know how they got those entries. They seem so sophisticated, but I think they've built instincts over time. So same thing even with your trading plan. Don't put too much pressure trying to make sure that everything is perfect, before you actually end up setting on your journey. Just make sure that at least if you end up having a good sense of how to end up figuring out the direction, your timing and your money management. Your timing is going to give you most issues. And I know that a lot of people, that's where many issues do end up cropping up. And that's where the greed and the fear normally comes in. The market is going to be going up. It's not an issue, in terms of direction. It's not an issue. I mean, we give that in the daily analysis every morning. Exactly which way the market is going. But when it comes to timing, that's where the biggest issues do end up coming in. And that's where the greed and the fear comes into the timing. You miss out on your timing, your risk to reward is off. You miss out on your timing, you possibly will end up getting stopped out you know, before the market does actually end up moving in your favor. But make sure that you keep on fighting. I always remind guys, trading is not easy. If it was, everyone would be making money on it, you know, but unfortunately, that's not the way it is. So you just need to keep on fighting, keep on pushing. And of course, us guys are here as a resource. You know, as the Afriforex team, we've helped many people and we can always help you. So make sure that you do get in contact with us. So I guess that's pretty much in terms of the trading plan. So in case you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Also feel free to comment on this video. We'll be more than happy to hear your sentiments and what you have to say, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Of course, feel free to also check out the entire conversation that I did have with my long lost grandfather from Italy, the very end of this, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the next video, and of course also in our sessions, both online and physical. So with that, happy trading guys, and may the peeps be with you. God bless.
Yes.
Geithiando. Wokire Kenya.
Muriega inyuothe. Ndokire guku kinya January 31st, 1971.
1971.
Yes.
Kwa no wonire Kenyatta.
Of course.
Okay, na Moi na Kibaki.
Yes, all the.
Na wege koyo muno kugira.
Yes.
No ujide.
No, hote kugucinda. Muno makĩria thĩinĩ wa thimo, tondũ thimo rĩ, andũ matiũĩ mũno. Andũ arĩa marĩ youth. Matiũĩ thimo.
Matiũĩ thimo.
Koguo
icio no ũndute. No ũndute icio.
Hihi. Ndioĩ.
No tũrĩte Nyĩrĩ gũkũ Nyandarua.
No, Nyeri. It is Nyeri mbere nĩ Narumoru, thutha nĩ Gatarakwa, thutha nĩ Nairobi now. Yes.
Koguo ikarĩte Kenya mĩaka mĩingĩ kũngĩra.
Yes. Kuma kinya rĩu, kinya reke tuge kinya 2021. 2022. Yeah, so that 51 years. Yes.
Mĩaka mĩingĩ.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
Father. No rathimo.
Asante.